Hello, Mary, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. It's been a while since I did a radio broadcast with you, and of course, this is soggy, wet, the 24th of October, 2014. And of course, right now I'm just checking all my settings here. Okay, anyway, as I said, today is the 24th. It is a soggy, wet, overcast day. It is raining, and obviously my cats have found out just how wet it is outside. And today we're going to talk to you about some of the things that we talked about briefly on the videos, but we are going to carry on and go into more detail about some of the fears that I've been having lately with my eyesight. And the videos are great for this, but sometimes I think the audios are also just as wonderful because you get a chance to focus on the words that I'm saying, and I think that makes a positive message to the people at large. And the first thing I want to tell you is that those who have no idea about my background, I have been born legally blind pretty much from birth. So my eyesight never was good. And when I say never was good, I mean it never was 20/20. It never even got close to 20/20. I think at one time the closest it got to 20/20 was the third line on an eye chart, and that was when I was wearing contact lenses when I was in high school, and that was the best of the best. After that point, my eyesight just took a nosedive and hasn't been the same since. Of course, when we got into all this computers and high technology and stuff like we're using today, one of the notorious problems is the amount of abuse that my eyeballs are starting to get just from being around all those incandescent light bulbs. Wasn't so bad, but being around those complex fluorescent light bulbs were starting to show up in the 90s in homes everywhere in the United States. Plus, of course, fluorescent lights in buildings such as schools and industries clearly was causing a lot of hardship for my eyes. And the sad truth is there really was not much discussion about how can one overcome the limitations in their eyesight. And the sad truth is that when you grew up in a time when you thought, because everybody was trying to empower the handicapped individuals, that they could be anything they wanted and that they could overcome the difficulties in their lives, which is great. But the sad truth is that for many people that just didn't work out that way. And so therefore that's the reason why a lot of people who have multiple handicaps to this day are still finding some hardships. It's really getting to be really difficult to do videos on YouTube because of my nystagmus and things like that. And of course my hearing loss isn't helping. And so there's this kind of double trouble situation where you can't do certain things, but you got to keep doing certain things because it's necessary for to get your videos out there into the public ears. And so there's been this open discussion about what's going to happen now. Where am I going to go in my life with my eyesight as it is? Well, the truth is I don't really have an answer, because I never really, I don't have much of a support network, which is a tragedy. I don't have much of a support at all. In fact, I have very little support to help me get around the difficulties in my life, and I got cats all over the place. The cats. They don't mean harm. No, I know they don't. It's just that they're always running around and they're always getting themselves into trouble and all that. And we're going to play a little bit of last night's video. And we're going to play through the mixer, through the auxiliary channel. And that's something we're going to do once in a while. Is to experiment with new technology. So here we have some of the clip from last night from YouTube. It's called the... Hello everybody, it's MicheleMarieDalene. Today I am doing a little bit better, thank you very much. I'm still having some problems with my eyes. But I wanted to talk to you today about eye safety, eye health, and I think you did a great job on that video personally. Because I think you really kind of tried to open up the eyes to the people's awareness of what was going on. Absolutely, and I think we've done a pretty good job on it. So, yeah, I think we have come a long way with that, and the problem is when most people watch the video, I have no idea. I just hope they do. I mean, I think it was a great job, and you really worked on hard to get people to understand how everything is interconnected in eyesight and hearing and things like that. And I thought that was really fascinating too, is when you went in and you're trying to explain and showing people the different kinds of light bulbs and things. Yeah, I think that was a pretty good thing. I think we also did a good job when I made the statement in the end, which we're blinded here. For the American Federation for the Blind as well as the Lions Club say, please use your sunglasses for UVA and UVB protection because that causes severe damage to the eye. And these are, it's just like bringing the sun into your house, and you don't realize how much damage you're doing until it's done. As I said, back in the prior to these things becoming mainstream or even the standard long fluorescent tubes, most people did not have as much problem with their eyeballs as we do today. With all the computers and stuff that we're using, we just keep adding more and more luminance to our lives, and we're destroying our eyes, and that's not cool. As far as Congress goes, no, that's a really good point. I mean, what you said there about how these new bulbs were almost like bringing the sun into our house. We don't really think about that, but it's true. If you ever look at, say, the way houses now are lit up compared to, say, even the turn of the century, you'll see that most houses now have more light in them than, even back into the 1980s, they were pretty lit up pretty well. Of course, with track lighting and, of course, with fluorescent strip lights and some. But it seems that in the last 30 years, we have really pushed our light sources almost to the breaking point. Yeah, I think that was... the biggest problem that we're having is that we bring all these bright lights into our home, and we're creating problems for our eyeballs. And I think you also said something else here. And the way that they've been trying to originally mandate the phasing out of incandescents. Manufacturers were already doing that long before you guys got involved. So manufacturers really did not want to keep making these incandescents anymore because they thought they were losing money, and they are, and they just wanted to get rid of them. But when they started closing plants, General Electric closing American plant, need these guys, that was a lot of jobs, American jobs, and so there was a lot of American workers that need work, and now they don't have many labels. There is one company that is making these things now, is still making them through means of the bulb act, called by making what they call rough surface, or heavy duty bulbs. They're rough surface. That's what they call them. ROUGH, rough surface bulbs, designed to take a beating. And these guys are still being made, and they're so popular right now down in Georgia that the company is not able to keep up with the demand. Right. So if you can keep getting these bulbs, please do. And please do remind your congressional critter, stop trying to railroad these damn CFLs down people's throats. I know that, that was one of the reasons why a lot of people were very glad when the bulb out, or when the moratorium of enforcing the enforcing of the compact lens, the incandescent lamp bulbs ban was kind of defunded, was that there was manufacturers already were rolling back production of the incandescents, even prior to that. So all this did is it just helped push the American consumer to the more expensive tier, and that hurt a lot of people, I think, financially. Yeah, I think that what you also said in the end, if we can find it, you said something about how the Snow Queen Palace is not going to be using the incandescents or CFLs anymore. I really need to go to the video for that. We can talk about that right here. Originally, we just put this in to see if the system worked, and it does, and that's what it was originally intended for. So, yes, let's talk about that. The most biggest problem right now that we're having at this point, besides the fact is we have eye damage, and it is damage, and it's going to take a lot of resources to fix a problem with my eyeballs. Is I think the worst thing is the lack of support of my family. You mentioned in another video, which you just raised to make room for this one, that your mother basically wanted you to drop dead with AIDS. Why would she ask for such a thing for a person to drop dead with AIDS when the person she's asking to drop dead for AIDS is not even involved in risky behavior that would cause AIDS? But it gets complicated. Well, simplify it. Okay. My mother is just a very angry, bitter old woman. She's, she was hoping that, I was going to be mainstream, successful, have everything together like my brothers and sister does. The sad truth is that while my brother and sister have it together, they certainly do not have physical handicaps as well, which results in, of course, is that they have jobs, they have cars, they're able to get things done, and that's a big difference between me, which I never had a car, and the few jobs I have had were not really very great paying jobs. They were jobs, but they weren't really making the kind of money that my mother would have been proud to see me making. It sounds to me like your mother is a little conceited. She can be, so, but still, to treat your child and tell them, I hope you get AIDS and die, it sounds to me like a very hurtful thing to say to anybody. Why would you ever want to wish anything like that upon your children? No, absolutely not. No. I think my mother, like I said, she's just, she sees AIDS as a great equalizer. She sees me as the kind of person that'd be an IV drug user or doing unsafe sexual activities. But you don't even have sex. I don't even have sex. Absolutely not. And you don't do drugs. And I don't do any drugs. You don't drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I try to avoid going to the casinos to gamble because I don't trust myself with coins and the slot machines. Yeah, you blew. Every time you do go, which is once in a very great time, you go in there like $20 and you're gone. You're spent out in about 10 minutes. Yeah, it's not really a good way to go. No, it's not. Okay, but now let's get back to the main issue right now, which is the eyesight concerns. Where do you think we are going to go with this eyesight issue? I think the first problem is that, I have to come to grips with reality is that I'm never going to have the eyesight that I had in high school. I'm getting old, and when I was in high school, my eyesight was at its peak, and and now it's clearly on the escalator down. It's not a free fall, but it's definitely not, improving by any stretch of the imagination. And so I contacted the people with the Board of Education Services for the Blind, which is like Commission for the Blind in some states. It's an organization that is state funded, that is to help those who have legal blindness, to continue independent living and to continue to be self-sufficient in their homes. And in that case, the program has done a lot. Let's just charge my phone since I've got a charger here. Oh, yes. Yeah. Speaking of the phone, I mean, what's the story with the phablet? It's certainly something I'm going to continue to work on. I think I will. I think with my eyesight as it is, I think the days of using electronic communications such as iPhones and things might be going the way of a dinosaur. I think it's not going to be able to continue for me to use a lot of the highly visual stimulating aids I have used for the last few years, such as touch phones like an iPhone, iPad, Android devices. I think we're going to be seeing possibly even the days of the Power Mac G5 may, unless we can reverse the cataract condition, those days are going to come to an end relatively quickly. I know that you used to love reading books as a kid, but now, of course, with your cataracts, you can't really read books anymore. Not for long, no. I could read books for a little while, but then my eyes will really hurt. And the problem is right now is that the right eye is, even though Mother has made it a little bit less uncomfortable, it is not perfect by any stretch of imagination. At least now it's consistently foggy across the whole lens. It seems like it's just not getting better. So there's definitely reasons why we're going to have to try something different. And I'm thinking we're going to try the special eye drops that we talked about. I'm not going to try to repeat the chemical formula name. I can't remember. I cannot even say it right. And I think I will say it one time or a time, just so you can understand what we're talking about. N-acetylchymosine, or NAC eye drops, which are made and licensed under a company called CanC. CanC, of course, is the licensed brand that is been licensed to make the original genuine formula from IVP, and they do have a very good reputation overall. And so I'm really looking forward to how those eye drops are going to work for me. But you only have enough eye drops to do really 3 weeks on one eye, 2 weeks on the two eyes, yes. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to just do it with the one eye and put the 2 drops in the one eye? Or are we going to go ahead and put twice a week and twice a day and put in the maximum dosage of 2 drops in the worst eye, which would be your right eye, and then just not do anything with the left eye? Or are we going to try to kind of mix it up a little bit to make it last? Stuff is really expensive. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, it costs a lot of money to buy these drops, and so the $38 a box for about 6 weeks supply they suggested for one eye. It would cost me about $72 for 2 boxes, enough to cover a week and a half. I'm sorry, a month and a half. 6 weeks again. 6 weeks. And but let's put it this way: how much would it cost you to have gone for the cataract surgery if you could have even done it? If I was to do surgery, it probably would cost me $3,000. Plus, there would be a period of several weeks of treatments to prevent eye infections. And unfortunately, given the way my eyes are designed and then the nystagmus, there would be a more likely possibility that I'd have to go into the regular hospital and possibly be totally knocked out flat on my back under general anesthesia, possibly even using a lot of recovery time in post-surgery. So it's not something what I would call a win-win situation by any stretch of imagination. Plus, there's also a risk given that you'd become a higher risk pool because of the I would definitely be a higher risk pool because the fact is that with the nystagmus comes the risk that you could rip your cornea. Ouch. Yes, ouch. So, I mean, obviously the eye drops are going to be probably the best choices I have to even begin the process of recovering my eyesight. And like I said, I'm going to try it. I really do need to do something. You've been practicing to deal with eye drops, so you've been trying to understand. Originally you were afraid that you weren't going to be able to do it yourself because you were afraid you weren't going to be able to get the eye drops in the eye. Well, that's still a concern. I mean, that's, eye drops. I've never done eye drops before, so there is a bit of a fear. Oh my God, am I going to get these all over my plate? Am I going to spill it? I mean, if I'm lucky, the honest answer is no, probably not. But, they're only 5 milliliter vials, and so it's not like, of course, the situation like that. So you could buy 2 boxes, but then no, I can't afford to buy 2 boxes. That's not going to happen. I can't. Okay. So this month what you'll do is you're going to try the eye drops this month. 3 weeks. Yeah. It's coming up. November. And then maybe in December, might be able to buy 2 boxes. Then I might be able to buy 2 boxes. Okay, so then December we'll buy 2 boxes. And then in January, February, we'll see what happens there going down the line. Now, what about the fabulous tablet? I mean, you kept talking about fixing it up. What are you going to do with that? It's fixable. I do want to get the batteries. I think that would help. But right now, I'm not even really using my iPhone that much for graphics because of my eye condition. Michelle, we're talking about 3.5-inch screen versus a 7-inch. That's a hell of a difference. So let's compare apples to apples here. Well, if you literally want to compare apples to apples, then you have to compare my iPhone 3GS to a Mac or an iPad Mini. Okay. But I've been wanting to get a standard iPad, 2nd or 3rd generation, for a while, and then I never got a chance to get to it because of the fact I can't afford it. Because of the lack of resources that I have, or, in my life, I can't just go out there and buy this stuff. And, you spend a lot of money, you talk about a lot of technology, but you also never talk much about your own personal issues in your life that much. Other than you do mention the eyes in the videos, and you mentioned briefly about your economics, but you never really talk much about how does it feel to be in the situation that you're in right now in life, or you want to do so many things but you can't because the resources are not there. Well, that's the problem for me, because it's hard, because like you can imagine, when I started out with a couple ideas I wanted to do in my life, and I kept running into money problems. I don't even have the support of family, or in cases, and some people, I certainly don't have too many friends either, and so we get stuck doing all this stuff pretty much by having to do it all on our own. And, if you ever look at my totem animal, which is a tiger and a house cat, yes, I have two totem animals. It's a white Siberian tiger and a house cat. What is the big thing about those two cats is they're both fiercely independent. But if they ever get hurt, well, in reality as a Siberian tiger, if he can't deal with his wounds or injuries and he can't feed himself, he's going to perish. Of course, we don't really think so much about the house cat, but the truth of the matter is that the house cat, unless he has a loving home, and he gets hurt, there's no one out there to provide for that cat's needs, and he could die too. So like you tried to sing a song on Tuesday. You're trying to say the words from the Beatles song "Help," and I think you got it wrong, but why do you think about the words from the song from the Beatles? Well, let's go through the words real quickly. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I really appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Will you please help me? Okay, that's the chorus. But then he also explains that when he was younger that he was, so self-assured. But I changed my mind and reached out, opened up the door, okay? It means it's just like me. I mean, I started out as a kid. I was really cocksure, and I thought I had everything together because, I could see well, I could hear good, and I could do so many things. But sadly enough, I found that with my eyesight failing, and my hearing is mediocre at best, and probably is not going to get much better. It's becoming a matter of, well, gee, I don't have any support, so if something goes wrong, I'm SOL, and I really, really would like to have my life going good for me. Yeah. So you really kind of definitely would feel like, okay, I'm going to do something else besides sit on my fat ass. I want to do more than just sit on my fat ass, absolutely. We started out Pink Rose Communications, or PRC, many years ago as a communications company, which was to cover things such as radio, broadcasting, podcasts, videos, as a way to reach out, inspire, and to educate the public, which is completely separate from my work as a North American Snow Queen. But it seems that they do kind of have become kind of interconnected. Now, does this eyesight issue affect your job as a Snow Queen? No. No, thank God, no. No, it does not. Okay, yes, it does a little bit, which is if I can't read certain graphs from the National Weather Service, it might be more difficult for me to plan a storm track as well as I can. And that is an issue, because I don't have, without the modern technology that I take for granted, I'm no better off than you are. Okay, so because I had the same problem. You had the same identical problem, which was you didn't have access to the technologies that we have today to plan your events. And so you had to basically go by more of guessing what was the best way that it was going to go. Yeah, that was true, and it did make it harder. And in that case, yes, the computers did make your life a lot better. You're able to reach out there and do more. Mm-hmm. Do you think that in the future science is going to find a way to prevent cataracts in the first place? Well, like I said last night, those special eye drops. If you want to be ahead of the game, if you want to beat the curve, the first thing you can do is to avoid things that cause cataract, which means wear your sunglasses when outside. Try to limit daytime exposure to the sun. Stay away from things that produce a lot of ultraviolet rays, including compact fluorescent light bulbs. Try to be gentle on your eyes. Don't overexert them. Don't strain them too much. And yes, you can use the special eye drops ahead of time, even before you have a cataract, if you choose. And they will help you also for other conditions of the eye too, including because they are lubricated, they will help you for dry eye. They will also help you for eye strain. So they will help to alleviate the everyday eye maladies, but they also will be useful to as ways to prevent the radicals or free radicals from forming and causing the clouding of the eyes through oxidation. And that's exactly what the whole idea is if you could take the eye drops, you don't have to do them every day in this case, because your eyes haven't really gotten to that point yet where you need to worry about it. Maybe maybe one drop in each eye every day, say for a couple weeks. Like let's say, for example, in the morning after you get out of bed. When is the most time when you're going to get dry eye? It's going to be when you first get out of bed. Your eyes are going to be tired. They're going to be like, So yeah, put a drop of it. It'll moisturize your eyes and help revigorate you. You can put them in too when you go to sleep. It doesn't matter. Pick your day or time. You can even put in one in each. One in the morning, one at night. It will help to make your eyes happier and also make it easier for you to get through life. Oh no, could you use one drop on your eye? I could, yeah. But because the right eye has got so much damage to it, I'm thinking is that one is definitely the one I'm going to definitely be putting the maximum dosage in, which is 2 drops in the morning and 2 drops at night. The left eye is got problems, but it's kind of just in the formation stage. So maybe I can get away with 1 drop in the morning, 1 drop at night, and then that way we can try to bring everything kind of back together, because this stuff has already made a major difference for eye care, and people really have shown a lot of promise with it, and it's done a lot of good things for them. So I'm thinking that let's do this. Okay. Now what about the hair? The hair. Okay. You're going to have to forego one of the 2 hair appointments that you're planning for the month of November to buy the eye drops. Now, you also have plans to go see a dentist this week coming up to deal with the tooth that's broken in half. What's the story with that? I've got to make sure, basically, I got to make sure I stick to my guns and tell the dentist, look, here's the story. I don't have a lot of money to throw at the problem. I want to save my tooth because I can't afford to have any more teeth come out of my mouth, because otherwise everything is going to keep moving around in my jaw. And that's how the tooth got cracked in the first place. So it's because when they lost the front incisor and the lower jaw, all the upper teeth had shifted, and then it caused one of the molars in the back to shift, so it landed on top of the other molar, and then of course after enough pounding and biting and chewing, it caused the tooth basically to just fracture, and then part of the tooth slid off almost like a veneer. So what I'm going to tell this dentist straight out is, because of budgets, excuse me, Fame, you have to hold on here. Because of budgets, I want you to glue the tooth back together. I want you to just glue it back together. I don't want anything else done. Yes, like I said, you can clean up the insides, make sure there's no, make sure there's no bacteria and stuff like that, because I try very hard to keep my teeth clean. And it will try to then glue it together. We don't have money for a cap. We don't have money for a crown, which is the same thing as a cap. We don't have that kind of funds. That's just not an option. And because I'm on a spend down. So we can't go ahead and fix the tooth the really expensive way. I mean, sure, ideally, that's the same thing you're fixing the back one. Why don't you fix the two tooth in the front that need to make a bridge so that I can have a third tooth right here to fill in for the one that's missing. But unfortunately, that's not an option right now. So we have to make do with what we have and try to fix the problem. Yeah, okay, so that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to fix that tooth. And depending on what he says, what are you going to do? Well, I'm already putting $80 away this month into the savings account for that purpose. And then depending on how it goes, next month, I might go ahead and put another $80 away for $160. That's not really a lot of money, but I mean, it's better than not having enough money at all. But I don't know if he wants me to pay up money up front or put down a deposit or whatever first. So that's why we're trying to put the money away. Yeah, okay. So we're going to put some money aside, and then you're going to go in there when you have the money and say, okay, here's my money, and then of course, then he's going to go ahead and do the work. Now you want to work to GoFundMe to see about paying for it. Yeah, I want to get an estimate from the dentist and use the estimate as a bona fide proof that I wanted to use. I'll start a separate GoFundMe to fix the teeth. And because I am on a spend down on Medicaid, and I can't get that done through that means. And with all the stuff that I'm going to be trying to do for my eyes at the same time, it's going to be a double whammy. Yeah, but the eyes, I think, are a little more doable because I think with the eye drops, you already know it's $38 per box of the can't see. You need 2 boxes, so it's about $76, $72. Yeah, I've seen it for about 72. I've seen it for 76. Okay, so let's just say 76 for 2 boxes. That's correct. And then you can use that money to pay for. So, I mean, I got to get so many different things done. It's going to be a real difficult thing to do. We're not even talking about fun things either. Like you mentioned, the Fabulous Phablet and fixing buying 4 batteries for it and 2 chargers so you can keep the thing filled up. And even that's a Band-Aid repair. That's not even the real repair that should be done. The real repair is that we should get somebody who has access to the appropriate equipment to do a board level repair. That's going to cost about as much as a hair appointment. $50 to $60. Okay, so that's not an immediate option right now. For that price, you might as well buy a new phablet. You might as well, yeah, and then I've considered that too. But for right now, I got to consider what I got available to me. I think that one of the things that stands out for me is how you have always seemed to say to somebody is, okay, I have to live within my means. I can't afford to do the impossible. And I think that's a big difference. Well, speaking of differences, I think we made a lot of differences in people's lives in the last few years. And do you get a lot of compliments? I do get some, but I don't get a lot of people telling me how much they appreciate the videos. But I do get them. Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get some more soon. Yeah, I hope so. But anyway, guys, this is it. Me and Michelle have got to get going. It's 9:42 in the morning. And we have to edit this down and get this up onto our sources. And if you have any comments, suggestions, advice, or you know what you should talk to, right? You can send the comments in the comment section below this. And you can also send me a personal email to bichela3@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can contact me, as I said to the videos. And I'm also on Patreon as BICHLA, and GoFundMe as BICHLA, and you can talk to me through those means as well. And we could always be looking for some more assistance and help. I definitely can use your help. Definitely. So that's it for now, guys. So talk to you soon. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody.